Hi greedy 3Ds, today we're going to be making this, the Ellen Ripley model. I'm going to show you where to find it, how to print it, and I'm going to show you how to paint it. We're going to do all the work today on the Elegoo Mars 2 Mono, and I'm going to use the Elegoo water washable photopolymer resin. Stay tuned. Head yourself over to Game Body where you can find the model. It's called the Ripley Underwear 3D printing figurine and it's a cost of £24.99. We got it onto the Elegoo Mars 2 Mono build plate in 2 sessions, as you can see here, each one taking about 4 hours to print. As usual, the quality on the Elegoo Mars 2 Mono with the water washable Elegoo resin has not let me down. I've put it together, I've glued it together with some Gorilla Glue, and I've just used a little bit of wood filler to fill some of the gaps. I've still got a few more gaps to fill. You might see a little bit of the white residue on there. That is just my failing to dry it properly before I cured it, but that's really not a problem. It will cover with a little bit of paint. Now I'm using the Army Painter paints to paint the whole model, and the skin colour, and there's a lot of skin on this model, is the Terran colour. So what I'm going to do is just give it a base coat, the body and the head, and as you can see the head is separate at the moment, and I'm just using some light coats to build up layers of the skin. Now obviously skin isn't just one plain old colour, there's lots of different colours in skin, there's mixtures of pink and browns and reds. So doing it layer by layer will mean that I can just change different sections of different areas, and if you look at the outer parts of the thigh or the body, those are going to be lighter than the inner parts. So just use your paints to mix them to create different shades of the colours and add bits of pink in, bits of brown. But I find if you do light coats more often, it will look a lot better. Take your time, use a small brush to get the edges, and then use a larger brush to kind of dry brush the colours across the already dried base colours. The Army Painter paints are really good, high quality paints, and I recommend them. Vallejo, I think you pronounce it, probably wrong, is another good brand that I've used, and I've probably got a few of those paints mixed in here as well, to use some of the darker colours. I use some purples as well, just on the inner lines, like the bottom of a back and where a bottom is. I also use it on the face, in the nasolabial lines, and in the sort of groove up just under the chin and around the eyes, just to add a little bit of shadow into it. But just again, slowly, different layers, allowing it to dry each time, and that's about the third layer on the face that I'm putting on there. And again, just a little bit of red has been mixed in with a little bit of pink, and I'm just highlighting and low lighting and just trying to give the face a little bit of character and a little bit of shape. It takes time to learn faces and eyes. They're the hardest thing I found during the whole learning of the painting process, but there's plenty of YouTube videos out there how to cheat and how to get the eyes to look like eyes even on smaller models. More layers, layer after layer. Now I use a wet palette, which are really good, and you can get them from Amazon, and it just means that the paints will stay wetter for longer. Now a really fine brush for the eyes, and I use skeleton bone from the Army Painter to do the whites of the eyes. You can use white with just a hint of blue in there. It's not a jet white colour if you look at your eyes, and I like the skeleton bone because it's just slightly off white. Take your time, get it as close to the edges as you can, but don't worry if you go over, because you can always tidy it up a little bit later on. But again, eyes and faces are probably the hardest part of any of model painting, and anyone who's painted a face will agree with me there. Absolutely, just take your time with it. It's trial and error. It'll look awful sometimes, just go over it, start again. When you get to do the eyes, do the black on the outer iris, the brown on the inner iris, and the black pupil, and just go over the top of the eyes and under the eyes, just with a brown or a black, just to sort of tidy it all up really. Now to the hair, again, small brush to do the edges of the hair. It's black in Ripley. Just go all over it, and when you've done the hair all over, you use a highlighter brush and just put some light white or silver on there. So Ripley's all done now. There was a little bit more painting in there that I didn't show you. I had to give some white for the top and the underpants, and some of the finer bits and pieces. I've just light brushed the spacesuit with a very pale green and then painted the zips. So you can see that in the final result. And here is that final result. I hope you like it. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing some more videos as time goes forward, but you subscribing really does help me. And I hope you've enjoyed the whole process. Any comments or questions, please pop them in the link below. But here she is.
Ha 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 ha!